Okay, hello. So what we're going to be talking about in this video is the minor ACE triads, or ACE triads minor. Now, this is not going to be quite as extensive as learning the majors, because what we're going to do is we're going to learn these minors as just variations on the three triad shapes we already know on the neck. Now, before we get into that, though, on the instrument, we're going to do a quick little bit of theory discussion. So the idea here, I've written out all of our chords, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We know 1, 4, and 5 are major. We know, in turn, if 1, 4, and 5 are major, everything else, 2, 3, and 6, are going to be minor. So I went ahead and put that little minus right next to him. And 7, again, we just kind of leave out. He's not invited to the party. We'll talk about it when we start getting into 7th chords and jazz. But what you got to know is that there's a dark side to each one of these chords. Each one of these major chords, 1, 4, and 5, have what are called a relative minor. So we're going to learn these as chord pairs, relative major and minor pairs. Kind of the general rule is you go backwards to the next minor chord to find that major chord's relative pair. So what's the next minor chord back from 1? Or I could write this going backwards here. Well, it's 6. So 1 and 6 are relative major and minor pairs. Meaning, if I want to get to a 6th chord, I'm just going to change one note of that 1 chord, and it's going to become the minor 6 of the key. Same thing here with 4. 4 and 2 are going to be relative major and minor pairs. 5, I'll go backwards to the next minor chord. And 3 and 5. And what does that mean that they're pairs? It means that functionally they kind of behave the same. 4 being a subdominant, 2 is also a subdominant. 5 being the dominant, 3 can be used as a dominant, or often is used as a dominant chord, or rather a substitution for 5, and 1 and 6. So, as tonics. But that's important to keep straight, because anytime you see, oh, I have a 2 chord, the first thing I want you to think, until you just have all these things down, is, oh, what's its relative major? Oh, it's 4. Let me go to that 4 shape and then figure out that one little variation I do on it. So I want you to think of them as together. So again, we go, what are our pairs? I'm just going to write them on the board and have them behind me so that we can reference them. Our pairs are going to be 1 and major 6. Sorry, major 1 and 6. So 1 and 6 are pairs. We'll go majors. Majors first. 4 and 2, and then 5 and minor 3. So those are our pairs. This would be our major chord and its relative minor. One and 6, 4 and 2, 5 and 3. Okay, so let's go to the instrument now. So how are we going to find these? So I'm going to get you the 3 shapes, the 3 major triad shapes that we already know, and then I'm going to show you the 1 note that changes, the 1 variation to do on them. Now this is going to be kind of the memorization work. You're just going to have to learn, okay, here's my major shape. Let me jump really quick to whatever its minor is. So let's start where we usually start. We'll start by going our little stair-step shape. We'll stay in the key of G. So in the key of G, G is my 1 chord. There's my stair-step. So the variation on the stair-step shape is to take your pinky and to put it on the B string where your 3rd finger goes on the same fret. So you end up with this shape. Again, you go from here to here. And if I put the E in the bass, we have an E minor chord. So in the key of G, what I have is G, G major, and E minor are the relatives. 1 and a minor 6. Again, in this case, G, and then its dark side, or its relative minor shape, just puts that pinky there. Now that'll go the same for when I move up here to play a C chord. I need its relative minor, which in this case is an A minor. There's my A minor. It'll be the same thing when I'm looking at D and B minor, okay? This will always make, whatever this major chord is, it will always make its relative minor. To put my pinky there, okay? Here's the next one. So my block shape. My block shape, I need to always be in front of it to make this relative minor. That's what's kind of going to be the trick about this one. It's going to be the one where position is going to matter. So if I have my block here, what I'm going to do is on the D string, I'm going to put a note on 2 frets up. So what I end up with is, in this case, 7, 5, 5. And that is an A minor. Again, 7, 5, 5. By the way, this might be a little tricky for some people at first. Know that one thing you can do is kind of move this finger down to only be on the G and the B string. That can help out a little bit. This is a very useful shape. This is, by the way, that minor chord in its root position. But anyway, so here and here for my block shape. So for my stair step, G and E minor in this case, and then for my block shape, C and A minor. Because C's relative minor is the minor 2 or A in the case of G major. Now let's go to the triangle shape. So here's my triangle. So for here, I move the one on the B. Here I move the one on the D string. Who can guess which one I'm going to move up here? I'll move the one on the G string. So I'm going to take the note on the G string, at the one that's in the middle, and same thing, I'm going to bump it up 2 frets. So what I end up with is 4, 4, 3 in this case. That's what's called a B minor. You can hear it when I put it in the bass. So D major, its relative minor, or the minor 3 of the key, is B minor. So you have G and E minor, C and A minor, D and B minor. Okay? And guys, that's all the chords you need to play in any key anywhere on the neck. That's it. 6 chords. Again, we don't really talk about 7 because typically all 7 is an inversion of 5. That's anytime you hear 7 in the bass, anytime 7's operating in the low end, it's either voice leading down to 6, usually going 1, let me step down to 7 really quick and then move down to 6, or it's that. There's my 7 in the bass, F sharp in this case, we're in the key of G, and then let me move it up. But all this is my D shape, right? Rarely ever is it that. At least not in most of the music that we listen to on the radio today. Okay? So there you have your 3 minor shapes that go along with those 3 major shapes. The major 1, 4, and 5 and their relative minors, giving you 6, 2, and 3. Okay, so work that out. I'm gonna make another video that actually shows you the 3 ways that I want you to know it, which, if it makes sense, it's gonna relate exactly to the 3 ways that you know the major. So I want you to be able to go, well, I'll make another video. Bye, guys.